the critical opinion on my films has always more or less been settled by what I would call subsequent critical opinion. I mean, the initial reactions to most of the films are usually wrong, or a lot of them are wrong. Whether they don't get the handle on it immediately and don't know how to deal with it in the sort of hour and a half they've left to write the review, or what. But somehow, with most of the films, the subsequent critical opinion is the one that establishes it, as an important film. Where if you read some of the initial reviews, on all of them, I mean, this seems to be true of a lot of films. I was amazed to read some of the reviews of Citizen Kane when it came out, and they weren't very impressed with it.
Really?
I was amazed, for instance, when Dr. Strangelove came out. I mean, not only wasn't it appreciated by various important critics, but it was really vitriolically attacked. Bosley Crowther in the Times wrote a piece where I think the headline said, "Moscow gold could not buy more harm to America," and that sort of stuff. And strangely enough, you couldn't say, well, liberals liked it. I mean, William Buckley wrote a terrific review of it, and you could not tell where their support would come from. Eventually, Loudon Wainwright in Life magazine wrote an editorial where he compared the criticism of the film with the then criticism from some Soviet general, saying that Russian artists should, do this, that, or the other thing. Where Life actually came out, Life came out and supported the film. So you couldn't, subsequently it's hard to believe that people, could that there'd be this sort of reactions to it.
Thinking about it, yeah. It's, that goes to the point that I was saying. Producing strong feelings with no easy answers often antagonizes some people.
Well, it certainly can antagonize and possibly confuse critics, because suddenly they're sitting there and they've got to say something and they're not quite sure what to say, so they say, well, he must be full of shit, and I'll just say that. But I mean, I remember a very important critic in Los Angeles criticized Paths to Glory because the guys didn't speak with French accents. Which hardly seems, when you look at the film, a relevant criticism. But they've all been. It's all been that sort of thing.
That's always struck me as kind of strange. Anyway, you have you have the World War II scene, and you have the Nazis planning something, and you want your audience to understand what they're saying, so you have them speak in English, but they speak with German accents.
Yeah, with sort of Clint Eastwood doing a German, it's one thing if they had German actors,
yeah, right.
But they've got really phony accents, with Americans trying to, so it's, and of course 2001 drew an incredible range of responses in the beginning. I mean, some people thinking it was wonderful, but a lot of reviews really just treating it as if it was some sort of awful mess.
Yeah, and off that, The Shining seems to hold up really well. Not hold up, it gets better. I've seen it 3 times.
Well, The Shining probably, had the easiest, most accessible kind of story. I mean, those that expected, I don't know. I mean, even that, people were looking. The other problem I find is that people are always looking. They come to my films expecting the last film, or the film before the last, and they're coming waiting for something, and when it doesn't, like waiting for a fastball, and then somebody throws you a slow changeup, and they don't like it. They swing at the fastball and they think, shit, he threw me the wrong pitch. And this is what happens, I think. And as I say, subsequently, somehow it settles down, and a general kind of opinion arises, which has been very good.